So I started drinking freshman year of high school. I remember I had my first beer. It was like a Natty Light, like a can of Natty Light. At it was at like one of my first high school parties with like the older kids, and I remember I thought it was disgusting. But from that point in my life on, never again did I question the role of alcohol in my life. I simply started drinking. I started drinking at parties on weekends, through high school, through college, and I still do it now. But something shifted very recently, which I never expected. For my life thus far, when I heard people talking about being sober, I always assumed like, oh, that's just something that it's not something that I'm ever going to do. I don't think I have a problem with alcohol. I think it's really fun. I don't see myself going sober. It was like this world I saw over there, and I was like, oh, you're sober. That's cool. But, that's not me. I like drinking. um, and yeah, the I would say I drink like a normal American does. Yeah. Alcohol is a part of my life, and it has been a part of my life for a long time. And binge drinking on weekends at parties at the bars is very normalized. It's been normalized since high school, through college, into adulthood. I live in New York City. People are out drinking constantly. You can go out every single night of the week, get drunk at the bars, have a good time, go to the club, whatever. Alcohol, it's flowing. It's flowing through our bloodstreams, usually on the weekends, but honestly, all the time there's alcohol. So this is just something that I never even questioned until very, very recently. And it was the LSD again. It was the LSD experience I had again that put alcohol into question, or at least I'm for the first time in my life wondering why this is something that I do twice a week or more. I'm wondering why. I'm wondering why I've never questioned it, why we all seem to partake in binge drinking every weekend, so many of us. In dating, why is it so common? Why are we drinking all the time? And not just drinking a couple beers, but drinking to get drunk. We're doing this all the time. I'm doing it all the time. The LSD made me ask why. Now, something really interesting happened after that acid trip that lasted about 2 to 3 weeks. I woke up the next day and I had no desire to have a cup of coffee. I also smoke weed almost every night. That night, I had no desire to smoke weed. That weekend, I had no desire to drink alcohol. I also had very little desire to pick up my phone and distract myself. This lasted for 2 to 3 weeks after the acid trip. And then slowly I would wake up and I would be like, oh, I think I need a coffee. I think I need to smoke some weed tonight. And, slowly got back into the drinking. I remember within those 2 weeks, I went to the club with some friends, and I was like, this is weird, but I don't think I need alcohol to have a good time tonight. And I started dancing like a maniac without being drunk. And historically in my life, I'm a very shy dancer, and I am self-conscious about moving my limbs freely and dancing, and I tense up and I don't know how to move and I stand on the sidelines. But historically, alcohol will break me out of that, and I'll, if I start getting drunk, I'll start really dancing, really moving. And that's like why alcohol feels so good. It's because it breaks you out of your inhibitions, out of your self-consciousness, lets you just move and act without thinking so hard. That's why alcohol feels so good. But after the LSD, I was so centered. I was so And my whole spiritual journey has been culminating to this LSD trip that I had at the end of December. This all came together with the LSD trip to where I was so centered. I was so in the present moment that even after the acid wore off, I was still in the present moment. I was operating spontaneously from the moment. I wasn't overthinking anything I was doing. I was acting out of the present moment. I was following my intuition. So if I wanted to dance, there would be no reason in that state of presence. There's no reason not to. The only reason you can get shy about dancing is if you're thinking about how you're going to look, you're thinking about how other people are going to see you. You're feeling an instinct. That instinct is to dance and move and have fun. But when you feel that instinct, instead of immediately following it spontaneously, you get into your thinking mind and you start thinking, am I going to look silly? Am I going to embarrass myself? What are they going to think of me? You get self-conscious. You put up your wall. As I mentioned a lot, you put up your wall of self-consciousness. You separate yourself from the universe. You make yourself me over here, and you make everyone else out there other. And you create this fear to be yourself because you don't want to be judged. You do this whole calculation. But when you're living in the present, there's no calculation period at all. You feel the impulse to dance, you simply start dancing. So you don't need, what alcohol does is it reduces that overthinking aspect. It can bring you to a place where you're just acting on your impulses without overthinking them, without getting self-conscious. But LSD brought me to that state, and it lasted 2 to 3 weeks. I didn't need anything else. And that's because it brought me to where my spiritual journey has been bringing me to, which is the present moment. If you are being, if you are living in the present, if you are simply being, if you are simply acting spontaneously, there's no need for alcohol. There's nothing to be self-conscious about. You can move. Your movements are not defining your ego that other people can perceive. They're just movements. They're just movements here and now in the present. They're actually artistic. They're creative. They're an overflow of your being. Only when you're self-conscious and calculating and overthinking do you need alcohol to reduce your inhibitions. And, taking this further to the coffee, to the weed, and the alcohol, it's like the way I started to think was, this moment is perfect as it is. Why do I need a substance to change it? There's no need to change this present moment. This present moment is perfect. The entire universe since its inception has culminated to me experiencing this present moment right here, right now. Why do I want to alter it with a substance? Even a substance as innocent as caffeine. Why do I need to alter this present moment at all? It's perfect. It's beautiful. So I've been really thinking about this alcohol thing. It's like, why am I going out and binge drinking, anywhere from 4 to 10 drinks every weekend night, Friday and Saturday? It's not uncommon for me. What am I doing? Like, why? And I'm starting to have this image that it's like, I'm actually, through the alcohol, you can kind of make yourself enjoy any experience. Like, you can be on a date that's not going that well, but if you drink a lot, if you drink enough, you're going to start having a good time. Same goes for a party. You might show up to the party and it's not your vibe and it sucks. But if you drink enough, you're going to start to have fun at the party. I'm starting to think, like, does alcohol have a role in complacency? Does alcohol play a role in, like, my continuing to do things that don't really align with me? this is what I'm starting to think. I was in the bar the other weekend as I've been having all these thoughts, and since having these thoughts, I've been trying to limit myself to about 2 drinks per night out, which is a big difference from when I used to be doing like 6 to 8. I was looking around at the bar. I was like, what is this? What are we all doing? And I'm trying not to be judgmental, and I've loved drinking and getting drunk for so many years now. But I was in that bar, I was looking around, it was like, this doesn't feel like the truth. This feels like, and I really shouldn't be talking about others. I should only be talking about myself. And I guess what I observed in the bar can only be a projection of maybe the observation I'm about to make is simply my analysis of what I did in the past. So, not with no judgment towards others and their journeys. I was looking around, I was feeling like everyone's just kind of doing nothing. But not in like a not in like a peaceful Zen way, but in like a, I don't know, poisoning your bloodstream so that you can have a superficial moment of fun kind of way. And it's like, and what's unfortunate about it is like that fun and that joy, it can be accessed. It can be accessed in every waking moment if you don't reject it. And I was standing in the bar, I was like, yeah, I could drink a lot and end up like staying here all night and having a blast. But what if the fact that when I'm here sober and it's not aligned, what if that's a sign that this is not my vibration right now? What if the constant drinking and almost forcing myself to enjoy these settings every weekend, what if that's holding me back from a setting that's more truly aligned with me, people, community that's more truly aligned with me? What if the alcohol is making me complacent in these maybe more low vibration activities?